G'day, Dino again, out here in the bush again, having a great time, this time with the new Defender. And I've brought my old Defender out here as well. I don't know if you can see that, she's up in the background, way, nearly went over, way up in the background there. Anyway, the idea of this day is to see, is this thing any good off-road? Okay, so we've got a few extras fitted to our test vehicle, including 255/65 R19 Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack tyres, a factory snorkel, and a couple other bits and pieces. It's got a factory bull bar fitted to it, and an undershield, and a worn winch. And we also get a worn winch recovery kit with it. And of course these cool looking 110 bonnet decals and the checker plate body protection kit. And this model is the Defender 110P 400S, which means it gets a 3-litre turbocharged inline 6-cylinder petrol engine that makes a pretty impressive 294 kilowatts of power and 550 newton meters of torque. And that's quick enough on road, apparently, to get this thing from 0 to 100 in just 6.1 seconds. And they claim a 9.9 litres per 100k fuel consumption. We got a little bit closer to about 11.5 per 100 k's. But hey, we're not here today to talk about how the thing goes on the road. We're here to see how it goes off the road, which is the big question everyone's been asking. As a reference point, I've brought along my old Defender, a 94 300 TDI 110 wagon, fitted with long travel suspension and front and rear air lockers. So, engaging forward drive in my Defender is a case of moving this across to locking the diff. I'm going to need a low range, so push that forward. Up here on the high-tech dash, we get a little thing up here to tell me that it's center diff lock's engaged, and we're definitely in low. You can tell that when you drive off. Pretty gnarly. We'll probably need lockers here, so air compressor on, rear locker, front locker. I'm using both. This is pretty tricky going up here. It's not quite standard, obviously. It's got the lockers front and rear. I've also got long travel OME suspension in this, so I've got a fair bit of wheel travel. So despite the fact it's pretty wet here on this, it's a mix of mud and sandstone, I've got a fair bit of off-road armoury helping me out. Okay, so let's jump in the new one and see if we can engage four-wheel drive. It's a little bit different than the old one. We want the rock crawling one, I reckon. Up, which one would that be? Mud ruts, sand, rock crawl, that's the one we want. I'm in the highest suspension setting. I'm in rock crawl mode, which it tells me somewhere. Yep, we're in rock crawl, and we'll try and pick a line where we're not going to scratch this thing, because it's pretty expensive. Very expensive, at least compared to mine it is anyway. Let's just see how we go here. We're in low range, obviously. Now on the dash, it's telling me all sorts of info about the suspension and where it's at, and where the diff locks are at. They're automatically engaging diff locks. Hopefully that grounds this thing. That's the first little section done and dusted. Did pretty well. Let's move on to the next one. Well, as you can see, it's quite an interesting little rock step we have here, and it's pretty slippery today. You're right. My biggest concern on this little section with the new Defender was ground clearance, but I needn't have worried about it too much. On its highest setting, it has plenty, and the front and rear overhangs are really short too. So time to turn around and see how both of these two Defenders are going to fare going up this rock step. No dramas in the old Defender with both lockers engaged, that's for sure. Hang on a sec, what's going on here? We've got a bit of wheel spin. I think the main problem here is the wheelbase just perfectly matched up with the rock steps. Eventually we adjusted the line and made it up without too much of a drama. There really are two different kinds of four-wheel driving going on here. With the old Defender, you've got lots of wheel travel, and of course they've got the lockers, which help a lot. But with the new one, not so much wheel travel, but a big reliance on the electronic traction control. And I've got to say, in this new Defender, it works pretty well. So at the end of the day, is the new Defender any good off-road? Well, I reckon the old one still probably has the edge off-road, but the new one is so far ahead of it in its on-road performance and comfort and refinement and everything else. It's barely worth comparing. Of course, all that on-road performance and luxury and off-road capability doesn't come cheap. Let's take a look at what this thing costs. So the base RRP on our Defender 110 P400S is $95,335. So the towing pack's a $3,702 option, and it comes with all-terrain progress control, terrain response 2, configurable terrain response, the tow hitch receiver, and advanced tow assist. And all those sort of off-road driving aids you really want if you want to drive this thing off-road. We've also got the driver assist pack, which is $2,086. That's like safety kit like blind spot assist, clear exit mirror, adaptive cruise control and rear collision monitor and rear traffic monitor. We've also got clear sight interior rear view mirror, which is pretty tricky. Turns into like the center mirror into like a TV screen if you've loaded stuff up to the roof, so you can still see out the back, and that's another $1,274. And the black exterior pack, that's like the contrasting stuff, that's $1,079. We've got the electronic active differential with torque vectoring by braking, $806. That's pretty handy for on-road handling and stuff. And the front fog lights are $403, bringing the total to $104,685. But wait, there's more. We've also got the locally fitted accessories that I mentioned before. The remote control worn winch is $4,950. The bull bar's $4,495. The undershield, as they call it, is $1,507. The raised air intake or snorkel is $1,422. All that checker body protection kit stuff is $940. This one's also got deep-sided rubber mats, which came in handy on a muddy day like today. And the matte black bonnet decal, it says 110, that's $280. It's another $13,952 all up. So price as tested is $118,817. That's getting up into Land Cruiser 200 VX and Sahara price territory. But you know, that's what this Defender's really pitched at. And I've got to say, on-road, this thing is just about unequal. And off-road, it's still pretty impressive too.